evening, boys and girls and in-betweens. No, just boys and girls. In-betweens, you can have a rotten evening. I don't care. Hello, and welcome to Beer Blather 159. Holy crap. Reject the Crypt Keepers. I should have said the creepy Crypt Keepers. You know, if I can say that, it's not enough of a tongue twister. And this is Saul Montes-Bradley, the largest human repository of useless information, still from my golden cage in Florida. And right there, with a beard and a beanie, is Thomas Wictor, the only living expert in 111 flamethrowers, and so many more interesting things as we shall find in the next couple of hours. Before we even start, Thomas, if you give me 2 seconds, we are starting in YouTube again, but in 10 minutes, we're going bye-bye. So if you're watching this in YouTube, check in the description. You're going to find a link so you can see these complete in our channel in Odysee.
Okay.
Okay. Somebody else was complaining today. Oh, yeah. A member of parliament in Spain was complaining that YouBoob closed his account because he posted, and get this one, a speech he gave at the parliament.
Okay.
So you can say it in parliament, but not in YouBoob. In any case, that's enough of YouBoob. If you are new to this, please subscribe to the channel and click on notifications. And God forbid, if you really like us, click on the support button or join us as a member. And having said all of that, how are you doing, Thomas?
Oh, I'm good. Let's get something out of the way. Everybody's talking about Trump said he's going to be arrested on Tuesday. Let's not say much until it either happens or doesn't, because there's no way of knowing at this point. I think the guy pursuing him in New York, that DA, I think he's stupid enough to do it, but we have no idea.
Alvin Darling?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, he's beyond stupid, let's face it.
Yeah. If, and that's a big if they go ahead with this, then as Elon Musk said, Trump wins the re-election in a landslide. And another reason it's stupid, I haven't seen anyone talk about this. What they did with Cohen and somebody else is they send him to Rikers Island. Okay. How does this work? A former president who still has Secret Service protection, and they want to send him to Rikers Island without any special protection. How does that work?
Oh, you deputize the rapists in Rikers Island and put them in the protection detail for the president. Well, there is no way to work this shit up.
Yeah, it can't happen because the Secret Service will not allow it to happen. And if the New York City cops are dumb enough to try and force the issue, then the Secret Service is going to pull out their pocket machine guns, and we're going to have a standoff. Because
assuming the boss is in New York, which he would have to be in New York anyway, because he's being charged in a New York court for an alleged violation of a New York law, because the federal charges were dismissed a long time ago. Yeah. There is indeed no. And by the way, do you know that the state? The alleged state crime he's said to have committed has a statute of limitation of 2 years.
Well, what is the crime anyway? What is the crime?
Oh, the crime is paying off the porno creep to go away. Which, by the way, it's no crime.
It's not a crime. Are they talking again?
But if you consider it in the worst possible light, there is still a statute of limitations of 2 years, and this shit is like, what, 15 years old? Give me a break. This is stupid. And the same Alvin Bragg, who swore into his position, stating that he will not jail violent criminals, unless somebody dies, is going after a former president over a bullshit non-crime that occurred 15 years ago and that the federal courts have already dismissed.
Yeah, and looking at the leftist reaction, the giddiness is the reason why I think it's more likely than not that they would try to do this, because they think in their little pinheads that a picture of Trump in handcuffs will cost him the election. And okay, who was Navarro? Somebody named Navarro was arrested at the airport, and they put him in handcuffs, a waist handcuff, and leg shackles in the airport. And,
oh yeah, he was a Trump, not a consultant, aide of sorts.
yeah,
Peter Navarro.
They sent the FBI SWAT team after Roger Stone with their massive rifles. So I have no doubt they would try desperately to put Trump
something stupid.
Yeah, but okay, we have no idea if this is going to happen, and everybody should calm down, because if it does happen, there's no way in hell that they're going to imprison Trump. The story I heard was that they were going to hold him without bail. That's impossible. The Secret Service won't allow it.
Yeah. And like Joanne says here, remember that Donald Trump sued the bitch for her false claims about him and won. And she owes him money.
Okay, what is this? I never got a straight answer. What the F is emoluments? They're getting the theory I've heard from lawyers is that they're going to try and nail him on emoluments.
Emoluments is profiting from his position. So let's say that you are the president, and before you became president, you had a catering company that is still very much your property. So from that moment on, every meal served at the White House or any event in the executive is catered by your company, and you make a shitload of money. Those are emoluments.
Okay.
Now, they stretched it like bubblegum to suggest that anything that happened at, say, the Trump Hotel in D.C. Was a violation of the emoluments clause.
Right.
It wasn't.
I know. What I'm talking about here, the theory I've read is, if this happens, what they would try to say is that by hushing her up, he was benefiting his campaign, which was a violation of the emoluments clause. Go figure that one out.
That's absurd.
Yeah.
So, whoever said that really doesn't understand the principle of emoluments clause.
Well, it's possibly the DA in New York. Maybe he doesn't. I mean,
well, okay. That wouldn't surprise me.
I saw something really interesting. New York City in the 1980s sometime, they had their own Zodiac killer. He was a copycat. He ended up shooting, I don't know, he used zip guns, pipes with some kind of rubber band used to fire the bullet. And he thought that since there were no lands and grooves in the bullet, that it was untraceable, but he didn't know that the pipe itself created marks that could be matched. But he shot, I think, a total of 12 people, of whom 4 died over a period of several years. He started as a very young man, and he was arrested at 32. And what was really fascinating was that they were showing period interviews with people saying this crime stuff has to, they were marching in the streets, and everyone was saying the police are under massive pressure to find this guy, and they created task forces and all this sort of stuff. And none of that happens anymore in New York. There's no outrage. When the son of Sam was killing, there was outrage. There was the cops.
I was there. I remember.
Yeah, the cops were under massive pressure. The newspapers were pressuring the cops and the governor the mayor and all of that. None of that happens anymore. The people remaining in New York City have been
Could care
acclimated
less.
to accept violent crime as a part of their life. It's astonishing.
Yes. But don't have your shitty lawyer pay off a cretin to
No,
settle out of court. Oh, wait a second. Settling out of court is a crime now?
apparent it may be. We'll find out on Tuesday. If it happens, it happens, and it's God's gift to Donald Trump. If it doesn't
Yeah.
happen, then we'll never know unless
Yeah.
Trump does produce these leaks.
You know the way I think. I don't think it's going to happen, but I've been wrong before.
Well,
You should never underestimate their stupidity.
yeah,
You are correct on that one.
we just don't know. Trump doesn't really have a history of making claims like this that are this big. So it could be that he said leaks. He said the Justice Department is leaking. Well, this is New York. This isn't the Justice Department unless they're coordinated somehow.
They are because you see the New York law, it's not applicable. So they're trying to marry the New York law with a federal statute and present charges of the combination of both in the expectation that they can create a new crime. The whole thing is ridiculous.
Well, okay, look, I know you don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, but I could be wrong. It's don't hold me down to it.
Hold on a sec. The Ukraine war, the Russo-Ukraine war, has entered a stage that is so beyond ridiculous that 5 years ago it would have been unimaginable. Ukrainians were showing Russian soldiers who had been equipped with knapsacks from the year 1890. 1890. They've run out of World War II equipment. They've run out of World War I equipment. They're down to 1890 equipment. Any rational leader would have thrown in the towel. Instead, they're currently doing a stealth draft of another 400,000 troops. The Ukrainians have already started their counteroffensive, and it's been incredibly effective. As you said, we're giving them our hand-me-down, our cast. We're giving them equipment that we weren't even going to use anyway. So they're using it in brilliant ways. I saw an attack. I can't remember if we talked about. There's an armored personnel carrier that looks kind of like a box. It's called the M113, and it's got a rakishly slanted front and slanted back. And this thing was phased out. It was replaced by the Bradley fighting vehicle because basically it was an armored personnel carrier. But you could put a heavy machine gun on top, and the Ukrainians are attacking in squadrons of these things, and they're not sitting still for even a second. They're going forward and back and round and round. And the whole time the turret gunner is hosing down the Russians with the heavy machine gun. It's super effective because they're moving so fast that they can't really be targeted by the shoulder mounted anti-tank missiles. And also, we've given them tons and tons and tons of those mine-resistant armored protected vehicles with the V-shaped bottom, and they're super armored, and they have a turret on top for you name the weapon. So they haven't even gotten their main battle tanks yet. The Western main battle tanks. So just imagine what happens once they get those. I mean.
They are beginning to. The first Leopards have arrived.
Correct.
And their crews are trained. There is a new graduating class in London of the guys that are. Let me see. It's 5 teams.
Yes.
For the what's the name? Damn it, not Challenger,
Yeah, yeah,
the British tanks,
the Challenger, yeah.
the Challenger. It's about in the spring. They're going to be ready to roll. By the way, did you see the Russian answer to this?
No.
Tankenstein.
Oh, good Lord. That's from a ship. That's from
Yes, the turret is a double gun from a ship, which they welded on top of a 1949 troop transport, and this, as you can see, is from newspapers.
Holy God.
Yeah, there are videos of this shit operating. This one is not complete, but I saw the other day actually a Russian propaganda video of the factory in Siberia where they're putting this shit together.
I
And
mean,
they're touting it.
what else can they do? I mean, okay, they announced that they were going to undertake the largest tank modernization program in history, where they were going to modernize the T-62s and bring them completely up to 21st century tank standards, which is impossible. But they're producing something like 5 or 10 tanks a month. I mean, good Lord, this is
These guys are producing 6 Tankensteins per month.
yeah, and that's such a death trap. It's not even funny. It's like a as tall as a 1-story building.
Yeah,
And
and by the way, Emery, you're correct. It's a BMP frigate gun on top of a 60, 70-year-old fucking troop transport.
yeah, no, and okay, if you notice that the troop transport, the reason the Russians or the Soviets pioneered the armored fighting vehicle, and if you notice, that thing is very low to the ground, which made it hard to hit. So they've negated their own, and the world followed suit. They said, oh, the Soviets have done this, we have to do it too. And so they've negated their own innovation by putting this giant rocking tower. Can you imagine how top heavy that monstrosity is? I mean,
no. What I can tell you is the moment it hits an incline, it's going to be sideways.
That's the thing. And
yeah.
This is what I've been saying. There's this weird madness. The Russian crypt keeper and our own crypt keeper. Okay, I read they found 9 more caches of documents, of classified documents that Biden had
in Boston.
In Boston. So what is that? That's like 12 now, or no, more than that. That's like 17, 18.
Well, yeah, but remember when I told folks this is the gift that keeps on giving?
Yeah.
You haven't seen all of it yet.
No.
There's shit all over the place.
Yeah. And there wasn't with Trump. It was all in one room. They went there and they saw it. They said, everything's fine. Just put a lock on the door. And then they said, holy crap. We've got to blow this up into something it isn't. Well, in the case of Biden, actually, I just realized there were 10 caches before. They found another 9. Yeah. So we're up to almost 20 so far.
Yeah.
Compared to Trump's 1.
Yep. And have you noticed no FBI agent has filtered pictures on the floor of Biden's office with all the folders?
With all the empty folders, yeah. I mean, it's
amazing how they can keep a lead when they want to.
Well, okay. The Russians who are dying, who are being massacred, they're begging Putin to, they think Putin doesn't know about it, so they're begging whatever Vova means. Vova Putin. Do you know what Vova means in Russian?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I don't either.
No, out of context, no.
They're begging Vova Putin to put a stop to this.
Vova sounds like Father Putin to me, but
could be
little father.
Yeah, it's a diminutive, definitely.
But
could it be?
I'm not going to affirm it.
Could it be a diminutive of Vladimir?
Mm, no, it to me it sounds like Little Father.
Okay.
Let me see if I can. Well, while we do this,
Yeah. So I was just going to say that we're seeing outrageous insanity on levels we've never seen before. So it seems like the sky is the limit when it comes to suicidal irrationality, which is why I don't put it past the Democrats to try and nail Trump on a non-crime and you know try and force a confrontation with the U.S. Secret Service. I mean, this is
hmm.
and
by the way, you are correct. Vova is Little Vladimir.
okay, yeah. So they're begging Vova Putin to come save them, and it's like he's the one sending you to your deaths. When will you people understand? It's amazing.
They won't. They won't ever. They won't ever. This is, but it is classic of paternalistic collectivist societies.
Yeah, at
Remember when I told you that Fidel Castro in '92 was the leader of the government and the opposition at the same time?
the same time, yeah.
Because everybody who favored the regime is Fidel here, Fidel is the greater, he's the greater. And everybody who opposed the policies of the regime, this is insufferable, we can't take it anymore. Fidel has to go to parliament, the assembly of
Yeah.
the popular power. He has to go to the assembly of the popular power and put everybody on notice that they won't be. You're talking about the same guy, assholes.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
and this is the same thing.
okay. We're at 8:24. Do you want to leave YouTube?
Oh yes, 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 yes. Hold on, just 1 second. Uh, People still watching us in YouBoob. What are you waiting for? Come over to Odysee, the water's warm. And YouTube is gone.